Welcome, welcome. We're at episode 25 here at the Musicians Talk Show.
I'm Matt Tolley.
And I am Dallas DeWhite. Thank you guys so much for listening. Today's podcast is brought to you by Bandzoogle, as always. Bandzoogle makes it super easy to build a stunning website for your music in minutes, and I love it. They are music-centric. It's not like Squarespace or Wix, which are great, but they're just for general websites. Bandzoogle is specifically for music. So you can choose from hundreds of mobile-friendly themes. I mean, most people are looking at websites on their phones, so you need that mobile-friendly. And you can customize your design and content just a few clicks. It's so easy. Even your drummer could do it, right? That's what Dave Cool says. All the features you need for a professional website are already built in, including tools to sell your music and merch. Here's the best part: commission free. They don't take a cent from you guys, and you can have it right on your website. Mailing list tools to grow your fan list and send newsletters. I encourage you guys to go listen to the Dave Cool episode. We talk extensively about why that's important. If you're wondering why you would need to do that, you need to go listen to that. Integrations to pulling content from all your online services like Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, etc., and live support from their musician-friendly team 7 days a week. I just emailed them the other day, actually today, to have something done on our website. They got back pretty much instantly. It was surprising how fast they got back.
Awesome.
And here's the best part. The Bandzoogle plans start at just $8.29 a month. I mean, that's super cheap for everything you need in one spot, $8.29 a month, and it's going to include your own free custom domain name. So let's go to bandzoogle.com to try it free for 30 days, and be sure to use the promo code TMTS. That's promo code TMTS for the Musicians Talk Show. We got you guys 15% off your first year of subscription. That's pretty awesome. So there you go, guys. Bandzoogle, websites built for musicians by musicians. Great service. Please check it out. Promo code TMTS. So who do we have today, Matt?
Today we got Tim Stewart from Lady Gaga's current touring team.
Absolutely, musicians. Man. I mean, can you think of a bigger tour? Think of a bigger tour.
Guns N' Roses, maybe. Nah, Lady Gaga might have.
It's on a similar scale,
for sure. But
different
also,
crowds.
We talked about his band Knives, which is really cool.
The band
too,
Knives, yep.
And he's doing great. That's brand new when this podcast
brand
comes
new,
out.
Yeah. So as we're recording this, it came out yesterday, but when this podcast comes out, it will have come out a few months before.
Exactly.
We like to stay ahead of the curve here at TMTS. Helps us, helps you. I mean, what are some of the things we covered in this episode?
Well, lots about touring, because he's done a ton of that.
Such a road dog.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then
this
also,
guy loves the road.
Yeah, and staying inspired, he had a great
Absolutely.
lot to say about that. It was great.
A lot to say about being successful in the music industry and what it takes.
Yeah.
And then we do dive into the gear for you guitar players that are interested about that. Finally, I found a Kemper lover like me.
Well, they're out there. We know they're out there.
They are, yeah. But and most people say they prefer the tube amps. And I mean, again, to love the Kemper is not to hate tube amps. They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I feel like I can appreciate both.
Sure, absolutely. And both. That's always a good answer.
Absolutely.
When either or, just choose
Why
both,
ever
right?
shut the door? Yeah.
Exactly. All right, well, we're done yapping. Let's get to Tim Stewart here, people. How'd you get started in music?
I started playing guitar when I was like 12. In church, really. My family is, my grandfather, my uncle, and my cousin were all pastors. So we had a church in the Bay, and I started playing there when I was young. And I was doing that, but then I was also, my sister, super metalhead at the time, so I listened to a lot of like all the heavy stuff coming out of the Bay Area at the time. So
right on.
It was kind of a combination of those two things, which is kind of weird but good at the same time.
That's totally an interesting combo.
Yeah, it is. It's strange, but it was good, man. Been playing ever since. I've addicted ever since. Honestly.
Yeah.
Once I started playing at 12, I haven't really slowed down.
Right on.
Trip,
That's awesome.
man.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So what? I mean, I'm sure you joined bands and stuff pretty early on. What kind of bands did you start?
Oh, for sure.
What was the kind of trajectory?
It was me and my homeboy. We were in 7th grade, and we were just like enamored at the time with like Metallica. And this is early. This is like 89, 88, 89. So
Totally.
But at that, it was like Death Angel, Testament, Forbidden, a bunch of bands like that from the Bay that we really were into. So we would play in his garage. And I'm sure we were fucking terrible, I had this little crate and
crate.
I think it was like
Ouch.
probably a DS1, and I had a tube screamer, like an Ibanez tube screamer at the time too.
Okay.
And just loud as possibly could be, and we just would make shit up and play and jam. got the cops calling us a few times.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I mean, it was amazing. And then we started a band together. We played every once in a while. Like I said, all a long time, I'm playing in church and playing with that type of stuff too, man. It was a lot of that until I got to college, and I just studied music in college up in the Bay.
What college?
Cal State
What college
Hayward.
was that?
I just studied at Cal State Hayward. I took classical and jazz.
Nice, both. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Usually, you see people go one or the other.
Yeah, I ended up getting a degree in classical guitar, which after the day I graduated, I stopped playing it. I was like,
that might be true for more people than that might be true for more people than they would care to admit.
Why would I ever do this? I don't know. It's amazing to listen to. The discipline you have to have.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. That's a good word for classical guitar.
You're playing by yourself all the time. I was like, man, I don't fucking play by myself all the time.
Yeah.
That's terrible to me. That's to me, it's not terrible to everybody.
Right.
But it was a great time, and the Bay at the time was really special. I think that there's all kinds of music happening in the 90s in the Bay Area, man. It was from, the thrash scene was still kind of lingering, but then you had, bands like Primus, Faith No More, and you had guys like Charlie Hunter around. I mean, this was like, through the whole series of the 90s. But, there's all kinds of cool shit happening up there, man. And hip-hop and rock and gospel. It was just a special time, man, for me. But
and what years would this have been?
I would say I started playing around 88 or 89, so pretty much 90 till I left in 2001, 2002 when I left for LA.
Okay.
It was like a real learning experience for me, and it was kind of all across the board. Just developing a love for all kinds of music, man, and getting exposed to all kinds of music.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it was. I miss it, man. I know it's quite a bit different up there now, but I really appreciate that amount of time I had there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
I wanted to talk about your college experience. Is that something you would recommend young musicians do, go to a music school, or would you recommend they stay away, or is it somewhere in between?
I don't know. I think I had a healthy combination of things, man. Like, if it's only college, I just don't see how, from my experience with it, how relevant that is to music at this point.
Yeah.
I at the time I'm playing in bands, I'm playing in church, I'm listening to all kinds of shit, and then the college thing was just one thing that I was doing, and I could kind of sift through the information and say, okay, I get how this could probably help me go if I want to be a professor at a college.
Right.
But that's not what I want to do necessarily, So I could kind of gauge the importance of it based upon my other experiences just in life and in music and in, hanging out with friends that listen to this or going to these shows. But I
taking what works for you. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, what works for you, man. Yeah, but I don't think it's like a thing where I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go to Berkeley, and then I'm gonna automatically have, it's gonna automatically put me in a position to do what I want to do. It's like, nah, man. Like, some of my favorite musicians never went to school.
Yeah, totally.
So, I don't know.
Right.
It's just. But at the same time, I enjoyed it. I had a really good teacher for a while that opened up my eyes to a lot of things, and even beyond playing, he just had a good outlook on life and music.
Right. There you go.
Yeah,
that's cool, right? Just in itself, just the people you meet and some great people at that, because they're obviously doing something right to end up at a teacher at a music school like Berkeley or wherever they're at. So
yeah,
totally,
man,
totally.
It kind of gives you a good outlook on things, So it was good for me, for sure.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What about moving to the city? I mean, I know you were in the Bay Area, but what about moving to LA? Is that something you think is critical? Is that necessary for success?
I think for me at the time, it was necessary for me to I felt like I had done everything in the Bay that I was gonna do, and I honestly didn't do that much up there on a large scale. I played with a lot of great musicians, and learned a lot, but I just felt like LA had a lot more to offer for me at the time, I actually joined a band called Fourth Avenue Jones, and I came down to LA. I met the singer of the band. His name was Ahmad, and his wife Tina. They were both in the band, and we hit it off like immediately. And I was like, "Well, fuck, I'm going to get my shit, and I'm moving here." And we got to deal with Interscope. Gonna, put this record out, doing shows, touring with, opening for other. It looked like it was about to take off, and then, it didn't take off. Things happened and changed, and dropped and moved to a smaller label, tried to do it independent. But
Yeah.
it got me there, and I just began to see how, vast the music business is.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was a whole new eye-opening thing for me, really,
Yeah.
to see.
How it
'Cause I
really
hadn't
works for
experienced that
yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was a trip. But yeah, it was necessary for me.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
yeah, I can't imagine.
I'm still there now.
That's good.
Yeah.
You just got done touring?
I did, man. I just got back about 2 weeks ago from the Joanne tour with Gaga.
Mm-hmm.
We were in Europe when we ended, so I stayed out there for another week or so. We did some shows with my band Knives, and then took a couple days off and came back home, man.
Cool.
So I'm home now, just taking it somewhat easy for
Yeah.
yeah.
I was going to ask you, how do you mentally process the vast difference between the adrenaline rush that is performing for that many people to complete solitude at home?
Yeah, it's a trip, man. I think I often tell the story of like playing, because it's a weird dynamic, because you're, like you say, you playing, there's thousands of people out there, and then you come home and it's like the next day I'm at the grocery store, I'm like freaking taking the garbage out, or it's just, or freaking driving in traffic.
Stuff, yeah.
Just life stuff, which is amazing. You have to have both. Like, obviously you gotta have both.
Yeah.
And it takes me a minute or two just to adjust, to kind of calm down and sit and do things like that, and then I'm back just to normal.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a big contrast.
Yeah, it is. It's a trip.
So when did you start playing with Gaga?
I started in, was it 2011, I think?
Okay.
Or
Wow.
12? The Born This Way Ball was the first tour I did with her.
Cool.
Yeah, 2011 or 12, somewhere around there.
So how did that come about? I have to know.
Yeah, my friend at the time was her music director. He's a brilliant musician. His name is Joe Wilson. We call him Flip. And I met him about 5 or 6 years before that. I was working for this producer named Rodney Jerkins. And we went up to Rodney's mom's house in Jersey. And she had like this gospel event, and we played. I met him. I met my friend Chris Dave, and another guy, John. And then, years later, me and Flip had always kind of stayed in contact, and we're friends, and he just called me, said, "Hey man, there's an open spot on this Gaga thing. Do you want to come down and do it?" I was actually in Mexico at the time. And I said, "Yeah, man, when I need to be there." And he told me the day. I got my ass back and went.
Hell yeah.
Played some shit. He recorded it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna show this to her, and then let's see what happens. And yeah, the next day he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I went down and jumped in the rehearsals. It was pretty quick, a pretty quick thing. And I knew the rest of the band from before. I knew Ricky from a previous tour I did, and I know Spanky, from the drummer from just from different things we've done together. So it was a good fit right away, man.
Yeah,
Good
cool.
group of people.
Totally.
Yeah.
Is Flip still the MD?
No, he left around that tour when that tour was
Okay,
over.
gotcha. What's
Yeah.
the keyboard player's name?
Rocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's the guy that invented
Rocket.
that ridiculous circle thing that
It's
is
crazy.
just mind blowing. I don't know how you would even play that. That's just
Dude,
insane.
he's a genius, man. Rocket is a genius, man. Like I'm amazed by it.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
a trip.
Is he the musical director?
He's not. No,
Okay.
he should be.
Who is her MD now?
Her MD is a guy named Michael Bearden.
Okay. Is he bass, guitar?
He's a pianist.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
He's
I was
been
wondering
around a
'cause-
long time.
Yeah, usually
Like-
it seems that keyboard players grab that position.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times, yeah. Yeah. One of the biggest in the game right now is a guy named Adam Blackstone. Oh, he's a bass player.
Right. Is he
He's-
with JT?
Everybody. Yeah. He's doing man, he's doing everything. He's awesome. You know, a lot of that has to do, that's a weird gig. A lot of that is people skills, you know.
Mhm.
Adam's
Yeah, I was going to
awesome
ask you if you could
with all kinds of
tell
people.
us, for the listeners that may not know, what the musical director's job is.
music director. I mean, it's a combination of things. You know, you're overseeing the music, and you're kind of, you know, you're working out the arrangements, the set list, in this type of music, pop music, R&B music, things like that. There's so much programming involved, and but you're also the go-between with the artist management, the artists, and the band. So there's a lot of things beyond just music that are
Mhm.
involved in that. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
it's yeah, it's not really the gig for me. It's too much email answering and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like emails, what?
absolutely. That's not guitar. Not interested.
Yeah, this sucks, man. No, but the guys that are really good at it, it's incredible, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's my favorite. One of my favorites is the guy named Omar Edwards, one of my good friends. We did the Rihanna tour a couple years ago. He's music directs like Rihanna, Jay-Z, just like a gang of people. But it's very difficult to be a music director that handles stress well, but still maintains like a positive vibe, and it's fun still, but it's still
Right.
like really good
Totally.
musically. You know, that's a real weird line to, you know,
Yeah.
walk on, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, you don't want to be too hard on everybody. You don't want to be too serious, but they still want it to be really good. And
Right.
he's
Yeah,
really
that's a
good
tough
at
line.
that.
Yep, that's a tough line to walk.
Yeah. But yeah, he's my favorite for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about touring on such a large scale? I mean, most people never will see a tour of that scale from, the inside. Of course, plenty of people see it from the outside.
Oh yeah. Oh man, it's good, man. It's strange, man. Sometimes I kind of stand back and think, man, this is crazy that I'm a part, because you know you do know that you're playing a small part in a massive thing, you know, because there's so many people involved in a tour like that. There's
Yeah.
from carpenters to lighting to stage to, you know, the full tech, the sound, the dancers, the music. It's just this huge thing that's all kind of moving parts that are all working together. So it is it's humbling to be a part of something that's that massive. And,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know, I'm definitely thankful. And then it's also, at times, I've noticed this on the flip side of it, that there is kind of like, sometimes I do feel like a detachment of sorts, you know,
Right.
because it's so many people
Yeah.
at these shows. I'm just like, man, when I play in a small place, it's that you're immediately in front of these people. You know what I mean?
right.
Intimate. And, yeah.
Yeah, the huge place is just like, man, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of energy, a different kind of awe. You know what I mean? But I've
Yeah.
definitely had some breathtaking moments in those big places where you're just like, fuck, man, this is like some once in a lifetime type shit, you
Yeah.
know. I just try to take in those moments, you know, at this point, because I think I'm acknowledging that they're few and far between, you know,
Sure.
Yeah.
for sure, man. But,
What
I
are
feel
some of
lucky.
those? What are some of those moments that stick out to you? Maybe more than others.
I think trying to think of specific ones. Um, the Super Bowl was pretty crazy.
Right.
That was just like the amount of people there was, and the energy there was just nuts, man.
Yeah, you're the first guest we've had on here that's played the Super Bowl. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It's kind of a wild rush because they fucking run you out there so fast.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like, wow, this is crazy. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like some of the like this year we did. We played in San Francisco at the where the Giants play, and that was pretty interesting for me to be there. Just having grown up in the Bay and to be in a place, you know, that
Yeah, right.
big and
right.
amazing. We did like Fenway and Wrigley, and a couple of those things, you know, things were really. We had some special moments in the show that kind of stopped me in my tracks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That yeah, but it's good, man. I just try to stay thankful and grateful because I know it's, you know, that's the thing my dad told me one time. He's like, man, you gotta kind of like stay in the moment and be grateful for those things, you know.
Yeah,
And
smart.
don't ever get moving so fast that you just let it become mundane, you know.
Right,
Because it can easily become that, especially on tour. You're doing the same thing every day. You're playing the same set. You're in the hotels, which seem the same. You get in the bus, you get on the plane. So it becomes monotonous, and it can become really a grind. It's a grueling thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I at times I have to force myself to just let me be in the moment and
Enjoy it for
feel
what it
the
is.
energy of the room.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
totally.
Yeah.
Smart.
But yeah, it's good.
Cool.
So what tour tips would you have for musicians as someone who's very experienced with touring?
Tour tips, man. I think, man, there's so many. I think really it has to do. There's a few. Obviously, on the music side of things, be prepared, and that's like know the material, know what tones you need, what sounds, what's gonna work as well. Like don't bring a gang of gear that ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, obviously, like bring things that are gonna be consistent and work, and they're gonna sound great. And then on the other side, be nice to everybody, man. Just be a people person, and even if you're not really a people person, still just try to get along with everybody, because that's, at the end of the day, that's really the thing, man. There's so many people that you're encountering. I feel like if you're, you know, thinking of other people and just trying to get along with other people, it's gonna be a better experience in the long run, you know.
Sure.
Because I've made some lifelong friends on the road, man. Some of my best friends are people that we've toured together and experienced this thing together, and it's awesome, man. You know, it's really not hard. I don't think. I think it's fun, you know. But
Well,
musically, as far as the job is concerned, do a good job.
Yeah, well,
You
that
know what I
probably
mean?
means
Be on
that-
time.
Yeah, totally.
You know, which is, if for some reason it's harder than it sounds, man. I don't get it.
Yeah,
man.
musicians are not known for punctuality, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and be a team player. That's the thing with a big. That's why I think I was trying to get to that when I was thinking about how big these kind of tours are, or even smaller tours, man. You have to be a team player, man. That's
Totally.
sometimes the travel sucks. Sometimes the hotel is not there. You don't have hotels, or the rides are not good. You know, hey, man, it is what it is. The next day will be better, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
Right, just always staying positive, yeah.
let's stay. Yeah.
So what does your rig look like with Gaga specifically?
With Gaga, I've been using for the last couple tours I've done, it's because of the amount of production. It's no amps on stage, no amps really at all. Clean stage, clean everything. So I've been using the Kempers, and I use the Kempers and a pedal board.
Okay.
But I use mine I use like one or two sounds, and I use primarily my pedals to get the tones that I need to get.
What profiles are you running?
I have this one I think it's like based off like a old Buddha, which I wasn't searching for it. That's just the one that sounded the best to me at the time.
Mm-hmm. That's the coolest thing about the Kempers. There's so much in there. You just find the tone, you hear it.
Yeah.
I'm
a huge Kemper fan. I could not live without mine.
Man, it's kick-ass, man. I think initially I was very skeptical.
Yeah, I think most people were. Yeah.
Thing is awesome, dude. Like, especially in a situation where you're not gonna feel your amp, you're not gonna see it, you're not gonna your in-ears. Mm-hmm. It sounds amazing in my ears, man. I feel like
absolutely,
it translates well in the house, so I'm happy with it.
And the consistency overnight. I mean, night to night, like no mics and dealing with all that stuff. It's just, I assume you're going direct.
I'm going direct in, yeah, man, yeah. And I've used it for like fly dates. Mm-hmm. We got to do like whatever show it is, instead of like renting a backline that I've never seen or which I did forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's some like old beat up Marshall or dual rec or something. It's like, oh man, like I'll make it work. I guess
it's what you request is not what you get.
No requests, not at all. I mean, I say this to everyone that I talk to the Kemper about, but it's like, if you're a tube amp purist or something, there may be a 5 to 10% deprecation of tone go into the Kemper, but the convenience is 500%. So it's like,
I agree.
I mean, it's just like, for me, the AxeFX, I tried the Fractal too, and it wasn't as good to my ears. It didn't feel right. To me, it's a feel thing more than a sound when I'm playing. It's like I want it to feel correct. And the Kemper just feels like home, and it always has since I first got it. So I just fell in love with it.
Oh, I agree 100%, man. We used the AxeFX for the Born This Way tour, and man, I hated it because of that. Everybody would be like, "Man, it sounds great." Mm-hmm. Like, but it feels like shit, man. It
feels digital. Yeah, it feels fake.
It feels digital, dude. And thin and just ugh. So when we switched to the Kempers, I was like, "Oh yeah, man, I can work with this. This is fucking awesome." And it takes pedals well.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I use
for sure.
A gang of pedals. Like, I feel like it's fun still, man. Like I feel inspired when I play it.
Mm-hmm. That's the most
it's
important
not like
thing,
a thing. Yeah, and I just feel like there's so many tools, man. You got to utilize them.
Right.
And I know there's the purist thing is so weird to me because I think about that. Like, I don't know. You got to be open to, I guess you ain't got to do shit, but to me, I got to be open to the new things that are coming because I think it adds.
Sure.
Well, yeah, it's not ever good to be just stuck in your ways when you could be missing out on some cool stuff that,
Yeah.
Who knows?
And there's some amazing shit coming out right now. Some of the stuff I'm just like, what the fuck? How are they figuring this shit out?
Yeah, totally.
Yep. The Kemper is just a magic box to me. I have no idea how it does what it does. I'm just thankful it does.
Bro, me neither. And he came, the dude, Christoph came to the Rihanna show I did when I was in Germany. Mm-hmm. And he's hella fun. He's just this crazy dude, man.
That's awesome. Their company's in Germany, right?
Yeah. He's so cool, man. Like,
that's hilarious.
Hilarious. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
He just kept asking me to get beers from backstage. I would just run to get him. I was like, "Hey man, you're my kind of guy."
A true German, yeah. I'm curious. You said you guys played AxeFXs on the tour before, and then you switched to Kempers. Are those decisions made by not you? Like, you don't really have a choice as to what you play. You just have to make it work on a scale like that?
No, you decide. When I came into that tour, they had, it was a combination of Joe at the time and the other guys. I came in new, and they're like, well, we're looking to go with these AxeFX, man. This is really what we want to do. And I said, okay,
You're the new
man,
guy.
I'm new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try it, bro.
Sure.
Like, I'm down, you know.
I'm sure they
But,
appreciated your flexibility.
Yeah, you know, and then you know, me and Ricky had gotten the Kempers at the same time. The first ones, they were like, and I still have it. It's the lunchbox one. But It's the very first one.
Yep.
And we ended up not even really checking them out for like a year. They were just in our thing, you know what I mean? And once we did, like, man, these things are kick ass, dude. We should be using these. So since then, I've used, you know, I switched over, and that's my go-to for something like that. I used them for the Rihanna tour, and then this last tour with Gaga, and pretty much everything I've done between. Man, I feel like it's easy, unless it's something that I need to, you know, use my amps for, which is fine too. I'm not obviously not opposed to that. And when I play around town, I use amps because it's smaller places.
Right.
But for something like that, man, I feel like it's a no-brainer at this point for me. You know.
I mean, it's such a convenient, good sounding box. I mean, I'd be surprised if most tours aren't using them at this point.
A lot of people are, man. Beyond just pop too. I mean,
I saw John Mayer had some on his rig, and
yeah,
Dragon Force. Like, I mean, everybody. Like,
yeah, man. It's a great tool.
So is your guys is the whole show synced to Click Track, or how are you guys doing that?
Definitely, it's all Click. It's Click because it's linked up to video.
Right. That's what I figured. Okay,
and
so
like the automated things.
Yep, that's what I was about to say. So the whole show, start to finish, has an exact time down to the second, or is there any room for flexibility? Or
it's pretty much down to the second. You know, if there's a hiccup or anything like that, if it's major enough, they would have to reset somewhat. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not even somewhat. Yeah, they got to reset.
Right.
But yeah, they can do it per song. They don't have to, you know, obviously go back. But
okay, cool.
Yeah, it's Click and timed. And, yeah.
So how is that for you as a musician?
You know, I've gotten accustomed to it, man. I feel like each situation works a different muscle, and kind of it's a different discipline to it. Mm-hmm. So that type of thing, you have to be pretty consistent and stay within the lines, you know.
Right.
And find your way, but stay pretty consistent to what's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, she always has moments where it's free, just because that's who she is, you know. But
cool.
You know, it's different. And whereas something that's super loose, that's a different muscle. And that's you know, improv.
That's
and
the
creativity.
Improv muscle. Yep.
Yeah. So, but
just
they're
pure
both
creativity. Yep.
Viable things, you know.
Yep.
I think it's not easy to play in something that's clicked out, where you got to play your parts and make them interesting enough and still feel lively and still feel, you know, inspired. It's not that easy, but you know, once you figure it out, it can still be fun, man. Definitely.
So have you ever messed with MIDI controlling the Kemper?
I haven't yet. You know, I have a few friends who do that, and it's all, you know, run by the Pro Tools engineer. Mm-hmm.
So you guys are Pro Tools every show?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I would do it. I think
it's wild for sure. I had a show set up that I didn't have a single pedal in front of me, nothing. It was just a completely blank floor, and it was like the patch changes when stuff would come up, it would just automatically switch. It was trippy to see the Kemper it was trippy to watch the Kemper go, you know, between patches and change between songs and all sorts of crazy stuff. But it was it frees up your mind to do other stuff. So I mean, I liked it, but it was weird to get used to. I was just wondering if you'd messed with that.
Not yet, man. I would feel naked out there. Like, where's my pedals, man?
It's definitely weird to not be tap dancing for sure. Yeah. But for me, I just felt like I got tired of tap dancing. You know, it wasn't. I'd always miss something or end up on the other side of the stage when I needed to go switch patches or something. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
Did not plan this
Can't do
correctly.
Too much ground to cover.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of that, I wanted to go back to what we were talking to before we started. I'm super curious to see what some of your most terrible gigs have been.
Shit, man. I wonder if I've tried to block them all out. I mean, I've done all kind for sure. I mean, restaurants, bars, weddings. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like some of the worst ones I've done.
Do you remember your first gig?
My first gig, I do, man. We played at my high school.
Oh,
I was in ninth
That's
grade.
awesome.
Or was I in eighth? I think I was in eighth. I remember I invited everybody, like my family and stuff, and I was like weighed maybe like 100 pounds. A little dude, man. I was up there with my shirt off, just trying to rock out. I'm
That's
sure we
awesome.
sounded terrible, dog.
What was
But,
the lineup there? Was it a full band or was it?
yeah, it was me, my friend on drums, and my friend Chris on bass. And
That's awesome.
yeah, I don't even know if we actually played a song. I think it was just I don't know what we were doing, but it was fun.
Little improvisation.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. And we played at my friend Chris's family party soon after. I don't think they were expecting that either.
You were not invited.
Yeah, you have to go.
Those are the best gigs when you just show up and start playing. People are like, what the hell? Who didn't know there was music here?
Yeah, man. I was telling. It was funny. I was in Hollywood with my fiance, and we were walking by this. It was a totally different place. But when I first got to LA in my band at the time, they sent us out to play because we was like a live hip hop band. So, but it was like kind of like the organic rootsy type. You know what I mean? So they would send us to play at these fucking clubs that were like playing like hip hop and dance clubs basically. So they would stop the DJ, but it's a full blown party, like, and put us up. Like we'd be set up there on our little instruments.
Let's go.
Dude, people were not having it.
No,
It'd be like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And these dudes are like, they're like fucking drunk, trying to get with the chicks, and like the girls are like partying, and they put us up there. We're like talking about peace and injustice. We're like, what the? He's
Time and
out of
place.
here,
Time
man.
and place.
Yeah, time and place. Man, I felt like that Blues Brothers movie where we needed the fucking chicken screen, man.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, man.
I'm wondering, what advice would you give to musicians looking to kind of do what you do and land a major label act as a musician of any kind, really?
Man, I think even for me now, I mean, I've just given myself this advice is it's the weird thing about music is for me, I've had to let go of my expectations, right? I mean, it sounds terrible, but I gotta get what I can get from music. If that means I gotta maintain my place as a fan of music, like try to find new shit to listen to, be excited about seeing stuff and hearing stuff and learning things. Play as much as I can play, learn as much music as I can learn. You know what I mean? And get out and play all the time. Still, I know for me, at one point in time, I got really slightly like jaded, just because I didn't think it was happening in the amount of time it should. But in reality, if you're fortunate enough to play an instrument and be a part of this music community, the doors for like gigs and things like that will open up if you just love it and you keep trying at it. You know what I mean? And I've had gigs come and go, and I had to stop thinking like, okay, is my career up or down? Is it? Because that's a fucking bumpy road, man. At this point, it's just music first. Keep learning, keep playing. Find new ways to be inspired. I mean, that's really the advice I would give to somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's even advice, but that's the advice I give to myself. Like, man, I don't even really feel like I'm really halfway done what I want to do yet. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Sure. Still young, still going.
Yeah, I just want to keep playing music. I feel like I feel very fortunate to be a part of music, really, man. Like, to be able to even just sit in my room. I still sit in my room, just play the guitar, man. I think about that. That's amazing that's something that I can just sit and do and get fulfillment from, you know? Just me by
Totally.
myself, nobody, not playing for anybody, just myself, and it's really an amazing thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
But as far as a new musician, man, you have to go out and play. You have to go out and play with people. I think there's no way of getting around that, in my opinion.
You learn so much faster that way, and you
learn,
gain friends and people you can communicate with about what you're doing. I mean, there's so much.
That's such a huge part of music, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a communal thing. It's not
more than just playing the
vacuum.
songs. Yeah, more than just like
yeah,
it's crazy.
And I think it's different in this time now, just because of nothing wrong. You have to utilize everything, but like the Instagram and YouTube and all those things, those are all great. But I think that you cannot escape. Like, if there's a jam session, go fucking play at the jam session. Go play at the local bar. Go play at the church. Go play wherever where you're playing with people.
Yep.
That's huge, man.
Yep. Get out there, be positive, and go for it.
You really do. And those, I've seen so many people, man, at this point come here and just, it's like they have the ability already, and then they go within a short amount of time, they're fucking off doing amazing things. But you have to put yourself out there for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, we've asked a lot of people that question, and time again, we get an answer that can basically be summed up by saying it's a survival game. You know, it's not about how good you are or anything. It's about how many punches you can take and get back in the ring.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is a fucking tough business, man. And that's just the reality of it. That's why I think for me, I have to maintain some kind of find some way to think beyond that, just for my own survival. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I can't really. I don't know. Being in the music business is gonna be bumpy. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're fucking, the king of pop, or if you're the dude in your bedroom right now. It's gonna be bumpy, man. It's just no way to get around it. But it's good. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it, man. Like we were talking about shitty gigs, man. I've had the most fun. I've had like a great time on shitty gigs and a great time on amazing gigs. Like, it's just, it's just enjoying playing. You know what I mean? Like, it's all good, and everything leads to another thing. You know what I mean?
I always say to myself too, like, what else am I gonna do? Like, I always say that, like, because that's all I want. That's all I want to do. So that's how I know I'm in the right thing. I'm doing the right thing.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, dude. It's amazing to be able to play music. It really is.
It is.
Dude. And I'll pass it on to my daughter now. I mean, my daughter's playing.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's cool.
She's playing guitar?
Yeah.
That's
very cool.
The songs that she learns, the stuff that she listens to, it's like, it kind of, the thing in LA that's weird is because you make a living at it, you kind of lose sight at times of why you started playing and what inspired you early on. So for me to see it in her, it is kind of kickstarted me in a way to where I remember why I started playing, and I never want to lose that. I want to be excited, inspired by things, you know, and not let it just be this fucking grinding business, you know.
Yeah. Not get too beaten down.
Nah, man. Ain't gonna happen, man. I ain't gonna let it.
Yeah.
So does your daughter like Lady Gaga? She a big fan?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. She loves it. She's super into like all the stuff I grew up on. Honestly, like the heavy stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes she'll ask me if I heard this band. I'll be like, "How did you even know about that?" Like, what the hell? But yeah, no,
What's a
she's
surprising
awesome.
band she's came to you with, like, as far as, like, have you heard of this band? Because that's always funny to me.
Oh yeah, man. She was like, "Yeah, I think I want to. I'm really into Sonic Youth." I'm like, "Sonic Youth."
Awesome.
I remember going to my dad and being like, "Have you heard of Boston?"
Yeah,
Totally.
I was like, "Yeah, I've heard
I had a
of
bunch of
Boston."
dumb questions too.
yeah, buddy.
Definitely heard of Boston. Yeah. Why do you
Tom
ask?
Schultz, man.
Actually, the current singer of Boston lives right down the road from us.
For real?
Yep, we're in
Oh,
Charlotte, North
man.
Carolina. Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's a cool guy.
Oh, that's badass, dude. I'm a Boston fan, man.
Yeah,
Our
totally.
tour
You
manager
gotta be.
on Gaga is straight from Boston, dude. Every time we hang out, it's Aerosmith, Boston. It's all the
Nice.
Totally.
all that killing
Cool.
shit, man. Yeah,
I mean, it's just like a master class in vocal harmonies.
Yeah,
bro, masterclass in guitar tone. and
totally.
parts.
Totally.
Have you ever played one of his Rockmans?
I haven't, man. And I remember when I was young, that was the shit. Like like I remember always seeing it in the Guitar Player magazines, and
Mhm.
I always wanted one. As a kid, I couldn't afford to get one. But I mean, I don't think they were that expensive, but I just couldn't.
Right.
But yeah, I've never got to, man. I need to go get one.
I'll do you one better. I will send you the Rockman profile I have, and it's insane. If you plug into it and you start playing, it's like, whoa, this is Boston. Like,
More than a feeling
it's
right away.
crazy. Like, it's so crazy how crucial that was to his tone. I mean, obviously it's the amp, but like, I mean, made by his own hands, right?
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
I read someplace that he would detune slightly. He would double his parts, but he would detune each time.
That's interesting.
know if
I've
that's
heard
true.
that. I don't remember if it was about Boston, but I've heard that with several kind of classic rock albums. That was something they would do, and I don't even know if it was on purpose or not. But
Yeah, that's true.
if that's true of Tom Schultz, it's got to be on purpose. I mean, that guy was a super
Yeah, I would
genius.
say.
Is a super genius.
When I do it, it's not on purpose, bro.
Yeah. So, do you have to sing in the Lady Gaga stuff at all? Do you do backing vocals?
I don't.
Okay, cool.
No, they don't want that for sure.
Might not have got that gig.
yeah.
That's funny. Are they all on tracks, or is it a combination of people singing in tracks, or is it people singing?
Kind of combination of things, man. Honestly, it's a lot of tracks in that kind of thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the effects.
Right.
A lot of
Yeah,
times.
sure.
Yeah.
It blows my mind when people think just because people play the tracks that they're shit. It's like, yeah, you don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
that's not how it works.
Yeah, not anymore. I think it's a necessary part, especially in that
Yeah,
format.
absolutely.
Pop music. But man, dude, rock bands are doing that like crazy now.
Sure, absolutely.
I go see bands. I'm like, man, there's definitely 10 guitars playing, and I only see one of you, bro. Like, so I know they're using them. I think it's more an accepted thing now,
Mhm.
which is a shame because I think the people were crucified for it. What, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Or where,
Yeah.
I think it's a normal thing now, and it's another instrument.
You still see some stuff like not really with the tracks example, but recently when Mariah Carey, I guess her ear fell out or something, and she couldn't hear
yeah.
herself, and something went wrong. But like, there's so many
Yeah.
things that can go wrong, and people will just, like you say, they'll just crucify you. It's like you don't understand all the things that are going on up here. It's a miracle if it ever works. Like,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, so many moving parts, man. It's very interesting.
it's such
she's
a
trip.
big production.
Yeah, man.
So
Definitely.
shifting gears, what keeps you inspired?
I think, man, there's so much music to discover, man. I feel like I've not even like really scratched the surface,
Mhm.
And I love even on the things that I know. I go back and listen to songs that I grew up on, and I hear new things. I'm like, fuck, man, this music is just it's something that you can never master. You know, like I don't trust people who say they masters of music. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
you're a master of lies. Don't say that, I don't know, man. I think writing and creating. We just did some shows with my band, and I haven't felt that way in a long time, to where it was just like I don't know how to explain it, like kid-like almost, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think music kind of does that for me at this point. It's pure. So I think, yeah. And, you know, I love music, man, really, all kinds. I feel like that just keeps me inspired. I mean, and then other things beyond music, you know, being with my kids and my life at home with my family, my fiance, man, that definitely keeps me encouraged and inspired to keep going and keep creating. And yeah, man, it's good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That is
It's
awesome.
a way of life.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Like I said before, I kind of have given up on setting timelines on myself or trying to
Expectations, yeah.
expectations, man. I just feel like you kind of miss out on the moments when you're doing that.
Right.
And there's some amazing moments in life you gotta be present for and
Mm-hmm.
be fully open to, and it's good, man.
Totally.
I love it.
So when playing, how do you stay creative on the instrument after all these years of playing?
Oh man, I think that's a tricky one at times. You know, I think putting yourself in new situations is definitely it keeps you creative and keeps you challenged. You know,
Right.
listening to new things, being open to hearing new ways of approaching things. You know, man, there's so many fucking players now that are amazing, man.
Yeah, man.
And then all the years of people before that were amazing. So I think there's plenty of places to find inspiration and apply it to your playing. And I know that's how I feel, man. I feel challenged all the time, because I think the instrument for me is a love-hate thing too, because I hear somebody, I'm just like, fuck, I quit.
Yeah, totally.
But then a minute later, I'm like, man, I'm inspired. Okay, I need
Yeah.
to like work on my playing and just
Yep.
and keep trying to get better. And that's, I feel like that's not even technically, that's a feel thing. That's
Right.
a pocket thing. It's a texture thing, a tone thing, or a, you know, it's being authentic. You know, there's a lot of different ways to create and stay inspired. You know, so it's yeah, man.
Yeah, good
But
answer.
I definitely have. You know, we all run into those places where you're fucking super uninspired and you feel like you just keep playing the same shit over and over.
Mhm.
Sure.
So it's, I don't know. I think I just try to listen to new things to break out of that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
YouTube is a fucking killer though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Don't go on YouTube.
They got a lot of talent. A lot of
And
talent out there.
don't watch any Greg Howe videos.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
So what do your
I'm wasting my life.
yeah, exactly. So what do your practice routines look like nowadays?
Oof. I think mine are more now just writing and creating and learning songs, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I really practice technically too much. I don't know if I have a regimen or a routine anymore. I think it's
Right.
I'll sit down and learn a song or work on an arrangement or try to write something new.
Sure. Sure.
You know, pretty much that's my, and those are hours though, you know, like I'll do that for, you know, as long as I can, or
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, or go play someplace, just sit in, you know,
Yeah.
play with records. I still, you know,
Yeah.
sit down and play with. I feel like that's the best practice you can have. Try to pick things out with your ear, and you know.
Mhm. Yeah, I was gonna ask you. You said you're learning songs. What songs are you learning?
Right now, I'm kind of been jumping back to like standards. I'm kind of in this weird place of, I have a real love hate with jazz, man. I feel like it's so daunting still, which is frustrating for me because you know, I feel like I've been playing it for enough time that at some point it should become easier. It's not, man. I don't know.
It's a
But
complex
I've
beast.
kind of been going back and listening to old standards and seeing how different people are approaching them, and yeah, just doing that for them, and then kind of going back and listening to some old James Brown, picking out those parts, Fela Kuti, picking out those guitar parts, and then a lot of the older like Jimmy stuff. I always go back to that. I feel like I learn something new every time.
Yeah.
You
Did
know,
you get
that's
the new album that just came out?
I did not. I saw it on the iTunes page. And I'm gonna go definitely pick it up. Have you?
Well, I have Apple Music, so I got it through that. But I listened to like the first track. It's pretty awesome.
It is.
I think
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, but my understanding is it's some unreleased material. You might know more than I do.
I don't. Yeah, I just saw the picture. I was like, okay.
I think it's unreleased material between 68 and 70. So
Sick.
it's pretty cool to check that out if you're a big Hendrix fan. And as a guitar player, I think you kind of have to be a big Hendrix fan.
Yeah.
I think you have to be, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. We just went to his loft, and for the first time, I've never been there. And
Cool.
we were in London, and it's like they keep it like kind of like a little small museum type thing, you know, facts about him, and it was pretty cool. It's crazy his impact on music and just guitar, but even beyond that, man, but really, for real, when I go back and listen to even just the basic records, man, the ones that I've heard my whole life,
Yeah.
like Castles, man, when I hear that still, I'm like, man, I just hear something different every time. And it's just his timing is so like effortless sounding, fluid, but like you feel them at the same time. I don't know. This is weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
That's a really interesting point that you can go listen to stuff you've listened to your whole life with new knowledge that you have now. I mean, even if it's just a few weeks after, you know, it's like you might have learned something new that kind of sheds new light on something you thought you understood.
It's true, right? It's crazy, man. Because I feel like I could, like some stuff I could play note for note, but then I hear it like a while later, like, man, I was playing that all wrong.
I think that goes to show you like what's on your mind at that time, like what, you know, and how much you've learned at that point, like your experiences like allowed you to view that now. You know what I mean?
It's true, man. It's like a highlight on something, another part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
and
true,
that's how you get better too, and you don't even realize it because it's happening so slowly. But over time, your experience is building, and you're noticing all the nuances of it, and you know the music and in your own.
It's true, man.
Yes.
I remember my dad used to tell me when I was young, because my dad played, and my dad actually put out a record this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sings, plays, incredible. He used to tell me when I was young playing, because I was serious about technical shit. Like I was very serious about it. So he would play me. He always had country music playing, like, you know, Waylon Jennings, like, man, all kind of the like the older like country music.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be like, man, I hate that shit. But he's like, you know, man, you're not gonna understand this till later, so it's okay. Like if you don't like it now, but you'll understand it later. I'm like, okay, whatever.
That's
He's
a super
so right.
wise perspective. I wish more people would have that perspective.
Man, now when I hear the shit, I'm like, fuck, I totally have, because I've lived and I understand it.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, and I love it.
Totally.
That's the coolest sentence I've ever heard in that. Like, I mean, as far as like the older guy talking to the young buck, it's like, usually it's like, oh, this isn't music, but to say like, you'll get this later.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Stages, bro. Stages.
Yeah. And growth.
Yeah. And growth, man. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about the new Knives album?
Yeah, for sure, man. We so it's me, Ricky, Spanky, who were all in Gaga's band. Mm-hmm. We were on the Art Pop tour about 4 years ago. Decided to make a record, and we did the first song, and I was like, man, well, I have a friend who I've known for 15 years that we've always talked about doing stuff, and that's my friend Jay. So I sent it to him, and he sent it back. I was like, oh shit, we gotta do this. It was like, that felt like immediately I was like, okay, this is something we need to do.
Hell yeah.
So we ended up working on the whole album. We finished it a couple years ago. Just been kind of waiting to figure out what we want to do, if it's something we want to really, really pursue and push. And man, I love it. I'm very proud of it, man. I feel like it's just the kind of like the starting for something that I think I'll be doing for a long time. It's
Very cool.
Mhm.
But we just put it out yesterday. It's kind of like it's hip hop, it's thrash, punk.
Yeah, it's a lot of different stuff in
guitars.
it, and it blends it so well.
Yeah, man. We did the first 3 shows, like I said, about a month ago in France, and it just felt awesome, man. It's like the camaraderie between us, and just building something that you own. It's
Right. Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like I'm kind of going back to my, it's weird. I love all styles of music. I play a lot of different things just because I love a lot of different things. But that's the one I think I have not really paid a lot of attention to, because I grew up listening to thrash music and punk rock, and I feel like I'm kind of coming full circle to where I'm really wanting to do that more,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and incorporate what I know now in that, But yeah, man, hopefully you guys like it. I'm really proud of it.
Totally. Yeah. We dig it.
We're gonna start doing shows, and I think we're gonna expand on the sound a bit, incorporate more things, and just I wanted like a vehicle or a platform to where we could touch all kind of areas of the music that we all like.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it sounds like. That's awesome. It's cool.
Thanks, man.
It's cool as fuck, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I think we got to do a show in LA on the 28th of this month, kind of like a record release kind of thing,
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're just doing that in between other things, man. We just, all coming together, and it's crazy. People often ask me, because I'm, to do something that's like on a larger scale, that's like a career thing, playing for like a pop artist, which is awesome.
Right.
I still have this kind of like desire to do something that's 100% me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Totally. And you said it's like what you started doing, what got you into music in the beginning. So it's perfect. It's like your true, self probably feels really centered. It's cool.
Man, it feels amazing, bro.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
The first show we did in France, man, that's when I know I'm getting old. I had to ice my ankle and lay down in the backstage. All those guys are laughing at me like, man, this old guy, man. You're pathetic.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, man. But hopefully we get out there. You guys, I want to,
Yeah, if you guys come towards Charlotte, man, you better let us know, man. We want to be there. I mean, we'll probably know,
For sure.
but,
we'll be
you better hit us up at least.
Definitely,
The
man.
emails.
That's what's up, man.
Totally.
All right,
Hell
Tim.
yeah.
Well, we're at the hour. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to plug. I'm going to delete this next part. I'd like to plug back in, say the formal goodbye, and then if you're cool, could you hang around for like another 1 to 2 minutes?
Of course.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure.
So I'll just plug back in here, and we'll say the formal goodbye.
Okay.
Well, Tim, thank you so much from all of us here for being on the show. You've been so generous with your time and shared so much cool shit. I'm so excited for people to hear this. So I just want to say thanks so much for being on the show.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for having me, man. I had a great time.
Totally, man. This is
And
awesome.
where can our audience find you to kind of keep up with all things Tim?
In my Instagram, really. I have deleted all my other social media.
I mean, your Instagram's great because that's how I found you. So it's
sweet.
doing its job.
Thanks. Yeah, that's about it right now, man. Tim Stewart. Yep.
Tim Stewart on Instagram. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. And we'll be in touch and hope to have you back on the show sometime.
Thank y'all, man.
Thanks, Tim.
Hey guys! First of all, thank you so much for listening. If you could please take a quick moment to subscribe on iTunes and leave a rating and review. Your feedback seriously is really important and it helps us keep the show alive.
Check out musicianstalkshow.com to sign up for our mailing list. If you do, we're going to send you our main theme song and a few other surprises. Plus, you'll always be the first to know what episodes are coming up.
If you want to help support the show so we can keep putting out the highest quality content possible, please follow the Support the Show link at our website and consider donating to our Patreon page.
Lastly, if you have an idea for a guest or a question you want to discuss, contact us through any of the contact forms on our website, and we'll do everything we can to make it happen.
Whew, all right. That was a lot, but we got through it. Thanks again, guys, and we will see you soon.